Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, I welcome you to the Top Rope Podcast. Yeah, what do you want to talk about? This is our WWE Survivor Series War Games predictions. Let's get right into it, guys. If you would, please hit the thumbs up and give me a subscribe as well. All that good jazz. I would greatly appreciate it. To be totally 1,000% honest with you, I'm thinking about discontinuing the Top Rope Podcast. I have a whole lot of other projects, so please, if you want me to keep it going, please smash that button and give me a subscribe. I think I'm halfway decent at doing this, so I'd like to continue to do it, but I can only do it with your support. Thank you. We got men's War Games, Roman Reigns, the Usos, Yeet, Jay and Jimmy, Sami Zayn, and now it's been revealed, CM Punk. The OG Bloodline versus the Rogue Bloodline, the new Bloodline, Solo Sikoa, Jacob Fatu, Tama Tonga, Tonga Loa, and Bronson Reed in the War Games match. Number one, thankfully, it's not going to be Seth Rollins. They definitely tried to swerve us a little bit on that and thinking it was going to be him. And after we saw Bronson Reed get in there, I'm thinking, oh man, it's probably going to be Seth. And then they got us by having it be CM Punk. Even though I was thinking that at the time, when I saw them reveal it was going to be Bronson Reed, I was like, oh man, Bronson Reed looks really, really good right now. They've already been pushing him hard as hell. And I'm like, wow, putting him in there, pushing him even more. So I was happy to see him in there at the time, but I'm still thinking it was Seth. I don't know how I really feel about CM Punk, though. I was hoping it was going to be Brock Lesnar. But, about giving myself the hiccups. Hoping it was going to be Brock Lesnar. That was not the case, and if it was, man, the OG Bloodline would have just probably, absolutely, at least on paper, it would have looked like they would just destroy the new Bloodline. With it being CM Punk, I think it's a little more of a 50-50 on paper, as far as which team looks stronger than the other team. And having Bronson Reed in there, like I said, definitely helps the new Bloodline look really legitimate, and adding that extra guy, I think they got a great shot at this War Games match. And just with CM Punk coming in there, I don't know, it was like, okay, Roman was trying to get a hold of Heyman, couldn't get a hold of him, and then the next week we hear, my name is Paul Heyman, and it's like, oh my, here's Paul Heyman. It's like, okay, well, maybe they'll explain that, what happened next week on SmackDown. It's like, okay, did you even talk to Roman? Clearly, I guess you didn't, because the way Roman's face was. So we're trying to tell that story. He didn't know it was coming. Nobody knew it was coming, but Paul Heyman's got to explain himself on why he didn't answer Roman, why his phone was disconnected, and why then he just decides 1 week later to show up and have CM Punk be the fifth guy and is going to help him. So I definitely need an explanation of that this Friday night on SmackDown before we get to War Games this weekend. Now, as far as who actually wins this matchup, I mean, there's an argument to be made that if the OG Bloodline wins it, the story's over. I mean, I'm sure they would still find a way to keep telling a story. One way they could do that is if the new Bloodline does win, maybe, I don't know, man, maybe somehow they get the win, but then after the match, you could have Solo then beating down Roman, or Fatu beating down Roman, or something's going on, where they just leave them laying after that. The old classic, hey, this guy got the win, or this team got the win, but then the other team got the better of them after the match was over. I don't really like that. I think the way to keep it going strong, is to have the new Bloodline win this thing, and then we can have some different storylines with them leading up to the Royal Rumble and, setting up some storylines for WrestleMania. And however that's going to go down, I think this is a pretty big toss-up, because I really feel like, though, at the same time, that at the end of this, it's like the baby faces should go over here and get the win, because if they don't, then, it just feels like the culmination of something. And a lot of the times, at the culmination of something, the baby faces do go over, make the crowd happy, make it all pop, make it all great. So this is a really, really, really tough one for me. I don't know, man. My gut's telling me that Roman and company, OG Bloodline, is going to win this thing, but I'm going to pick the new Bloodline to win this thing. Maybe CM Punk is the weak link and cost them somehow. I don't know. Then if you want to have the new Bloodline and keep CM Punk in the story, and then he gets, maybe that's how they go, though. Maybe CM Punk just, cost him. But you don't really want to turn CM Punk into a heel, though, if you do that, and then have Roman fight CM Punk in the next pay-per-view, or, Royal Rumble or something like that. So that, I don't know. That doesn't work. I don't know. I like to just throw things out there. Throw some ideas out there on these things, and, kind of talk through them. Please let me know what you think in the comments. If you guys have any theories or different kind of ideas that they could do. I don't know. I don't think that would work. I don't know how exactly it's booked, but I think in the end, I'm going to go with the new Bloodline. Keep this storyline going. Boy, yeah, I don't know. I don't know what that is, though. I don't know what that is at the next level. Tama Tonga and Tonga Loa versus the Usos at the next level. Sami Zayn versus Jacob Fatu, and then Roman Reigns versus Solo again. Didn't they already fight one? I don't know, man. It's a tough one. I'm very, very interested. When it's a tough one, whenever I don't know it's not clear as day what's going to happen, that makes the best stories. So I'm just going to make a prediction on this one, and I'm going to go against my gut, and I'm going to say that the new Bloodline wins it. I do think that would just be the right call to help continue the story. World Heavyweight Championship. My excitement level on that one, by the way, is at about a 9.5. It's my most excited match of the night for sure. I think it's one everybody's looking forward to. It's the best story going on in wrestling, has been for quite a very, very long time in one way, shape, or another. World Heavyweight Championship, Gunther defending against Damian Priest. I do think they've done a pretty darn good job of building back up once again Damian Priest. And it's just very interesting in the way they've told the story leading into this. Like, Gunther lost to Cody. Now, Gunther hasn't really been talking, and Priest is calling him out, saying, he's not the same ruthless guy that he was. Like, he's lost a little bit. He's not the same guy. He doesn't put off the same aura, yada, yada, yeah. So I've liked the way they've set this whole thing up and making Priest look pretty strong going into this. Like, he might actually have a decent chance of winning, but I don't think that he does. I think this one is very predictable, and I'm going to go Gunther. My excitement level is at about a 7.5. And as good a job as they've done in leading us into the men's war game, I don't think it's necessarily done a bad job at setting up the women's war game, but I don't know. I'm just not that invested in it. Not all that interested in it. You got a decent amount of good names: Rhea Ripley, Bianca Belair, Bayley, Naomi, and Io Sky. At least it looks like it's going to be Bayley for sure now versus Liv Morgan, Raquel Rodriguez, Nia Jax, Tiffany Stratton, and Candice LeRae. I'm going baby faces in this one. And I think that would probably be a good indicator that if the babyfaces do win, that at the end of the night, the new Bloodline is going to beat the old Bloodline. My excitement level for that women's war game, it will say it's at about a 6. Intercontinental Championship. I'm going off CBS Sports, by the way, here. Hopefully they're getting this thing right. I got a triple threat match: Braun Breaker, Sheamus versus Ludwig Kaiser. No way Braun Breaker's losing this here. I think it's been a decent storyline leading into it. Braun Breaker definitely wins it. I think it'll be a pretty darn good match. Excitement level it's about a 6. About a 6 as well for that Intercontinental Championship. United States Championship, I think they've rushed through this and bringing Shinsuke back and having him get a U.S. Championship match against L.A. Knight, because I think L.A. Knight's going to retain, and if he does, then what are we doing with Shinsuke again? We just brought him back. Maybe I don't know, maybe somehow, maybe some way Shinsuke wins it, but I'm keeping that belt on L.A. Knight, and I think that in the end they will do that, and I don't know. I just don't. Shinsuke, be right back to the drawing board perhaps for him. My excitement level for that one is at about a 5. And I think, I think that's about it for the Men's Survivor Series War Games. Though a few NXT deadline predictions just for the hell of it. I think it's going to be Sol Ruca that wins the Women's Deadline tournament. At least I'm rooting for. I'm going to pick her because then that makes sense because she's a babyface. She could then take on Roxanne Perez for the championship. Men's side's a little bit unclear because I think Trick retains against Ridge Holland. But if he does, I mean, what heels are in the deadline match for the men? I don't know. I'm just going to throw out a wild pick, and I'm going to go Javon Evans. That's only 3 matches I remember off the top of my head for deadline. But yeah, this has been our WWE Survivor Series War Games preview. My overall excitement level for War Games is at about a 7 and 7.2. We'll go 7.2. And again, guys, please, if you want me to keep doing these things, hit the thumbs up button and subscribe to the channel. God bless.